You want to start a new composition. And we want to call this your last name, your first initial, and I'm going to call it timing again. Because some people got this at work and some people didn't. I'm going to make it 6 seconds long.
Sorry, is that one from Tuesday? The one we
Yes,
tried to...
this is the one from Tuesday.
So if we brought it to work, do we need to redo it or no?
No, I'm just doing, what I'm doing is I'm just going over things again for people who may have missed it. And meanwhile, I've got, if you have finished the tutorials that we have been doing, and you've got them ready, and if you have your storyboard turned in, and if you don't have any more questions, you can go ahead and leave now if you need to.
Okay.
And I'm just going to
work on the main project because I mean, since we learned some new things, I'm going to try to edit mine a little more. But
okay.
I'm going to be here. And when we finish these tutorials, do you want us to submit them on Canvas, or are we going to make a folder? Because I'm organizing a folder right now.
Yes, what you want to do is output them as MP4s. And then what I'm hoping people will be able to do is upload them to a YouTube channel. Do you have a YouTube channel set up?
I think so. An old one.
Okay, so I will go over after we've done everything today, remind me, and I will go over how to upload something to a YouTube channel.
Okay.
And that way everybody can, you know, watch that too. They have changed it somewhat recently. They decided that people needed to designate whether something should be visible to children or if it's created specifically for children. And there are more questions you have to answer as you're uploading. So I will go through some of that. I'll upload one of these. I will actually output the timing again to an MP4, and then I will upload it to, I have a sort of a sad, neglected YouTube channel that I made about 8 years ago. So I'll see if I can get that one to open. If I can figure out what the password is, and then we'll see what we can do.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to say this is timing a 1, it's 6 seconds long. I'm going to say, okay. Okay, so now we want to double click on the text tool to create an insertion point. And before I do that, I'm going to change the text size because otherwise it will take forever. I'm just going to change it to 60 right now so that when I double click, it will open up as 60 point. So I'm going to double click on the text tool and I'm going to type a sentence with 5 words. Okay, and now I'm going to Command-S. So I've got a sentence with 5 words. I'm going to use my align window to make sure that this is aligned to the center, both vertically and horizontally. And now I'm going to Command-S to make sure that's saved. I'm going to go back to my selection tool. I'm going to import the audio, and I showed you where you could download that. Let's see, import file. Let's see if I have the audio in here. I should. Yes, the simplest sting. And remember, I had that available from the Canvas page. So I'm going to import this. Import, I'm going to Command save, and I'm going to stop sharing so I can go back to the Canvas page and show you that again. So I'm going to share screen to Canvas. And here in timing 01, so this is on your home page. I could change this to student view so it'd look more like yours. So I'm going to go to the home page. I'm going to come down to the Timing 01. I'm going to go to the Timing 01 page. And then you can import the audio. And here it is, simplest thing. So you click on this to download it and make sure it downloads into the correct folder. So I would put it in here. I've already put it in there, so I'll put it in this one. Just this is sort of a dummy file. So I'm going to go ahead and save it there. So that's available on Canvas, okay? And now I'm going to go back to the After Effects file. And I have imported it here. You see I've got it imported twice. Happiness. I'm going to come and drag it underneath so I can see it while I'm doing things. I'm going to select the sound layer and press LL to reveal this is the waveform. You can make the waveform larger and taller by pulling down so it gives you a better idea of where the peaks are. I'm going to move the soundtrack so the first peak will line up with frame 15. So I'm going to make sure it lines up with frame 15. Here's 15. I'm going to drag this so that the first peak lines up with frame 15. So that gives you time for something to happen, and it's just a better response time. Now I'm going to select my text layer and Command-S to make sure everything's saved. And I'm going to add a text animator for position. So I'm going to click on this little downward caret. Next to the word text, over to the right, here's the word animate. I'm going to add an animator for position. And I'm going to go to the animator. I'm going to change the Y value so that the text is above the stage. So that would be about -391 right now, so that's good. I'm going to click on this little caret next to range selector 1 so I can see all of my keyframing for start, my different keyframing options. And I'm going to open advanced and change it to say based on words and units index. 5 words. Like I say, it's a sentence with 5 words. I'm going to move my CTI back to 0. And I'm going to keyframe the start here. I'm going to click on start. And now this is just going to be a question of choosing when the words land. So I want my first word to land at the first peak. I'm going to type 1. So you select the number next to start and type 1. I'm going to move my CTI up next to the next peak. I'm going to type 2. I'll move the CTI next to the third peak. And I'll type 3. The next one, and type 4. And the next one, I will type 5. I'm going to Command-S. That's the last word. I'm going to drag back to the beginning and I'm going to press the space bar to preview that. So now you can see that the words are landing at the time that the sound is hitting. But they still don't look perfect. Now we can add a little interpolation. So there's different ways to add interpolation. You can right-click on an actual keyframe dot, or you can select the keyframe dots and you can go to Animation, Keyframe Assistant. So you can do it either way. You select whichever keyframes you want to affect. So I'm going to select the first keyframe. In the first keyframe, I want it to act like it's a train leaving the station. So easy ease out would be the one I use. I'm going to right click, I'm going to come down to Keyframe Assistant, and I'm going to easy ease out. The train will ease out of the train station. Starts out slow and then it gets faster. Now I'm going to come to the second, third, fourth one. No, this is the first one. Okay, that's the first one. So I want to go to the first one, which would be the second. Yeah, so second, third, and fourth, and we want to take these and we want to have them all selected and then right click and easy ease. So that sort of averages between the keyframes. And then the last one, this one's about to stop, so it's going to be easing into the station. So now when you press the space bar, they have just a little bit more accuracy. They look a little bit more related to what's happening. So I'm going to Command S. And now I will go ahead and make this into an MP4, and then I will come back and ask questions, and then, or ask if there are any questions, and then I will do it again. So composition, add to Adobe Media Encoder queue. And I'll stop the sharing because I'm going to have to, now I'm going to have to share it to the encoder, which is fun. So let's see. Here we go. So here's the encoder. And you want to make sure that it says YouTube 720p HD if possible. Some people have been having trouble getting to that. So if under TV broadcast, you don't have H.264 and the 720p HD. So I'm going to change this to, so the last thing I did was from Premiere and it said YouTube. This one will say high quality. That's the one that we're requiring for the class, but if you can't get that, maybe you have YouTube. Maybe you have YouTube 720p. You want to have a H.264 and you want to make sure that it is one of the presets that will work for us to use in class. And if you don't have this one, if you don't have it and you have only something else, so I've never used these, so I don't know what these would do. So Adobe stock, I don't know what that is. So don't use H.264 under Adobe stock. But if you have H.264 under TV broadcast, you can either choose high quality 720p HD, or if you don't have that, just go with the YouTube if they have it. And if they don't have that, well, then you're just going to have to go with whatever they'll give you. Let's see, there's one down here too. That's virtual reality. I don't think that'll work. But you do want to have an H.264, so you want, if possible, you want to have the one that's under broadcast. I hope you can find it. You press, or you click on the green arrow at the upper right, and it will start the queue. And it shouldn't take too long. Okay. And now I can quit the Adobe Encoder and stop the sharing.